y'all? This is your boy FIG, and I'm hosting today. This is the box seats. This is the show where this is the best damn show on TV. This is the show where comedians talk about sports, baby. This is barbershop talk, and I'm in the building. There's a new sheriff in town. I got these big stories, and I'm putting them down. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
What up, Fig?
What up?
That was so exciting. That was beautiful.
Yeah, man. I feel excited today, man. It's a good day. What up, Mike?
What's good?
I'm glad you
shot
Mike looked like he hitting the crack pipe.
I had to. My nerves are bad. Hold up.
Your nerves are bad. Talent, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, Stone Cold Blast, ready to rock with you, light skin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all gonna be a stone gas, honey. Amir, what's the deal, baby?
How's everything, man? Salute, man. Congratulations. Good to see you in the driver's seat today, sir. So I can't wait.
I'm gonna try not to crash and push us off the road today.
You got it, man. You're doing great.
I see Amir rocking the Pacers jersey, baby.
I got throwback stuff that everybody forgets. So like every now and again, I bring something out just so we can remember, just so everybody.
Man, I got
Amir refused to wear that Knicks garbage.
Yeah, shut your mouth, Rodney. Yo, man. Speaking of New York, man, let's get to it, man. There's a story that leaked, a letter that confirms that the New York Yankees possibly have cheated in the 2015-2016 season. This mysterious letter was leaked to the public Tuesday, a few days before it was scheduled to be unsealed by the judge, who finally came out and said that Rob Manfred wrote to the Yankees GM Brian Cashman regarding MLB's investigation to the cheating allegations against the Yankees. Is this a big deal, finding out that the Yankees, the storybook Yankees, the most winningest MLB franchise in the history of baseball, could have possibly stooped down to cheating? Rodney, what you got to say about the Yankees cheating?
You know what, dude? How many years? If you got away with it, it's too late.
Exactly.
I mean, how you gonna call me for cheating? A cheat? Okay, so let's say I cheated. It's 2 years ago, 3, 4 years. Man, dude, it's over. Okay, leave me alone.
So it's too late. Now, wait a minute. We know the statute of limitations is 7 years. So this happened.
Is that true? For cheating?
For cheating. No, the statute of limitations, period. You know, the statute of limitations, they usually let you go after 7, unless you kill somebody. The statute of limitations is usually 7 years. So
I think you just made that up, Vic.
2016.
He did.
Is it too late, Rodney? Can we let it go? We let it go?
Yeah. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go, Fig. Look, again, if it was that long ago, first of all, nobody even knows what they were cheating about. Like, nobody remembers that. Anybody who lost money, they can't recoup the money anyway. So at this point, what are we talking about? There's nothing you can do. That's a wrap on that. You just count the loss, keep it pushing. Like, what are we doing?
Hey, Mike. There are two main revelations. The Yankees used the dugout phone, like the bat phone. They used the dugout phone and stole signs. So, listen, what you think? A big deal? The Yankees?
Look, I'm not even a Yankee fan. I would like to tell them good job.
Well
done.
Hilarious.
It's baseball. We cheating. And Rodney's absolutely right. The statute of limitations, I don't care. It's over. It's over. Listen, I have this running joke in the house. If somebody comes and they say a kid pops up and the kid is 17 years old, and you ain't know that I cheated 17 years ago, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying welcome to the family.
Hey, while y'all playing, if this goes through, a lot of our wives be going back and grabbing some old dirt.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Don't say that, Rodney. Talent is the perfect one to answer. Talent, you ain't got no wife, so ain't nobody can come back and tell you nothing.
Well,
What you
first
think
of all,
about this story, T?
No, I got a worse situation than all y'all. Y'all got a wife. That's a pretty good situation. I got baby mothers.
The face.
I'm the least
that's
safe nigga on
hilarious,
this
man.
show.
Yo, that's crazy. I don't know, man.
I'm the least safe dude on this show, Vic. Understand that. Your girls, they worried about certain things. There's a lot of laws in place where you can't kill your spouse.
Mhm.
But
Right.
baby fathers, they ain't got one law in the books. Now let me tell you something. A wise man once said, a brother named Sigmund Freud once said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
You know what? That's true. That's true. If you ain't cheating, but here's the big thing: they didn't win. I mean, the Yankees didn't win the World Series, so is it really that big a deal?
If you cheat and you lose, it definitely don't count.
and it definitely don't count. And I just want to say this. Baseball is 2022. Why you still got a goddamn house phone in that dugout? Like, why is there still a house? What else are we going to use this house phone for except to cheat, dog? You can't text. You can't go on IG on that.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing people don't know, Mike. That's all optics right there. That's all for optics. That's a direct line to Domino's Pizza, you know.
And then, you know, the baseball is famous for, you know, peanuts, gum, beer, all that stuff. All that. Yeah, bring the peanuts. Yo, man, let's get into the NBA, man. I just wanted to get that out, man. Listen, you know, we in the midst of the playoffs, man. This is exciting. So let's go to the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat last night finally finished off the Atlanta Hawks in a gentleman's sweep in the NBA playoffs. The Heat were missing 2 starters, man, but they still managed to beat Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks with Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler on the bench, man. That kudos to Miami. But here's the thing. They were able to move forward now. Next up, they got to play the winner of Philly and Toronto. Can Miami continue to move forward and beat these teams if they don't have their starters? Tell me.
I think the starters will be back for one. They can't beat them without the starters, but I think the starters will be back in time. You know, at worst case scenario, miss one game. But I think the next series, not like this first one wasn't competitive, but you got your work cut out for part 2, guaranteed.
What you think, Amir? Can Miami do it with playing Philly and or Toronto
without their stars? No, I don't think they have enough. First of all, to see Oladipo put on the show that he put on last night, you know, kudos and props to him. And obviously, he's still a player with some gumption and has some intuitiveness as far as the game goes. But I think once you start, going to the higher levels within the playoffs, what starts to kick in is you need the players who understand those levels and how to play at those levels. Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry are going to be super impactful for them once they get to that next level. They're going to need that.
Mike, Victor Oladipo was a superstar, man. This dude, he was an all-star. He was leading Indiana Pacers, man. He looked like he was on the verge of joining the higher ranks, the upper echelon of basketball players. Can he carry the Miami Heat without the other 2 over Toronto and Philly?
I don't think he can carry him, but I think it's an excellent option to have off the bench. And I would like to apologize to Miami Heat. I would like to apologize for underestimating you. What they did against Atlanta was so gangster. When they allowed Alonzo Mourning to play 8 minutes and they still beat I said, I'm sorry. Like, I would like to apologize for disrespecting the fact that y'all the number 1 seed. I don't see Toronto or the Sixers being able to deal with Miami. I think it's both. I think it's inconsequential. I think they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And once again, I was wrong. I apologize. What y'all doing right now, the fact that y'all playing defense the way y'all playing it, that's pretty dope. A salute to Pat Riley for continuing his excellence. Salute
and Spoelstra, man. Spoelstra don't get enough credit.
Rodney, yes, and Spoelstra also. No doubt.
Rodney, Udonis Haslem, they said he was going to play 5 minutes last night. What do you think about Miami going up against possibly Philadelphia or the Toronto Raptors?
Well, first of all, you're looking at a team that's probably one of the best conditioned teams in the leagues, and it is Pat Riley. I mean that's a direct correlation with Pat Riley. No disrespect to the coach over there; he's a great coach in his own right. But man, I think Miami is just always good, real good, and they're scrappy, but they're always missing something. So the only thing we're going against Philly is, their big man, their big star over there is injured. His hand is injured. I'm not a fan of Toronto, but I believe Philly can still get it done against I'm sorry,
Miami?
a Miami team. So where I like Miami, I think Philly could beat them. In a series as it stands. And as for Oladipo, I mean, he always.
Did we lose Rodney?
Well, yeah.
You pause for a second. Listen, they call Miami. What do you call them? Them dudes, them goons from Dade County, man. Them boys ain't playing. But listen, since we was talking about Philly, Toronto, man. Toronto was able to win the last 2 games against Philadelphia, man, and Philly don't seem like they playing that well. Can Philly pull it out and beat Toronto this next go round? And Toronto is severely depleted because they just lost their star. Who y'all got in that series? Talent, Philly and Toronto, man.
It's a coin toss, man. That's a straight coin toss. We can't, confidently say either one's going to prevail, but it's a dogfight. And the problem with big dogs versus little dogs is, the little dogs usually get aiding. And your boy MB, like I told Mike, I told Business Bully, he's all good till he ain't. That's why as a big man, I've never seen nobody whine so much and break down so much to adversity. It's going to come down to how he handles adversity when it comes his way. But hey, man, it's anybody's game right now.
Wow. Okay, so Talent, you called in a toss-up. So if you had to bet money on it,
that's all it takes. That's all it takes. That's all it.
If I got to put money on it, I'm going with JV.
You go.
Amir,
listen, man, you're a basketball aficionado. We all know that your brother played on the highest level that you can play basketball. Who do you got, man? Like when you look at it from, your lens, who do you see between Miami and between Philly and Toronto?
It's the fun part about this series, to the point that Talent just made. You're talking about 2 teams who, obviously have their fair share of interesting things within the organization. I said this a couple of weeks ago when I had the opportunity to be on here. To me, this is going to boil down to whether or not we're ever going to see the James Harden that we have, tried to see. He has yet to prove, like I said, in these kind of moments. I told you, regular season, he's box office. There's no, question about his heart and how he plays the game. But it's in these moments whether or not we feel as though he's always up to the challenge. As far as the Toronto Raptors go, that team is, just one of these teams that's scrappy. And because they're playing together and because they're utilizing the fact that, they're coming together as a unit, that's what's been holding them, in this series. It would seem to me that Philly was supposed to have, blown them out and closed this thing out eons ago. But like I said, I'm always wondering where's that Harden factor, because Harden has, taken on the mantra of being, again, one of the faces of the NBA to some degree. And he's one of the guys who we don't always give the heat to him like we should, because like I said, he doesn't show up in the playoffs. Great regular season, playoffs, we like, you know what I mean?
Hey, Mike, you spent a lot of time in Philly, man. James Harden, I know he's not your favorite, but can he rise to the occasion and we can see a piece of the James Harden that we used to see in Houston and they get by a depleted Toronto team?
I hate to be this dude. I hate it. Has James Harden ever been that dude in the playoffs when you needed him? Has he ever shown up when it was all on James Harden? When Chris Paul got hurt and they needed that one game against Golden State. Now, the other thing I want to say to all the Sixer fans, y'all scapegoated Ben Simmons and y'all been having a ball talking about Ben Simmons. Well, Ben ain't there to blame if y'all blow this 3-0 lead now. But Ben ain't there to scapegoat now. This is all Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers, who in history, no other coach has blown more 3-2 and 3-1 series leads in NBA history than Doc Rivers. It would only be right for him to make history and blow a 3-0 lead.
Wow.
The jokes that y'all have made about Ben Simmons may play another game and all that other stuff, he's gone now.
Right.
Like Joel Embiid was on that team and he blew free throws that lost that series against Atlanta also.
Right.
But we forgot about that. All the pressure is on. I've never said this. Philly does not want to play game 7 in Philly. They do not want to play a game 7 in Philly against Toronto. They better end this series in Toronto because I promise you they will choke if they play game 7 in Philly. I will put money on that. If a game 7 happens in Philly, the Sixers will lose.
Hold on. Roddy, we just got you back. We were talking about Philly, Toronto. We know that Toronto is severely depleted with their talent. Can James Harden return to the James Harden that we used to see, even for one game, to be able to get Philly over the hump over Toronto?
Absolutely. I mean, you guys been bashing James Harden, but I mean, he still puts up his numbers. He's a little rotund right now, but he still does what he does. And as far as that trade goes, it looks like Philly won that trade. So I think absolutely James Harden can get it done. The bigger issue in Philly to me is Embiid's hand, and if he can go, that's the problem.
And Fig, real quick, the talent's point, because I got to go in like 4 minutes. The talent's point about Joel Embiid. He called out Ben Simmons last year after they lost. He called out Doc Rivers this year in the playoffs. Now he's calling out James Harden because he wants him to be more aggressive. When are you going to stop calling people out?
Take responsibility.
And take responsibility. And since you claim you're the MVP, guess what? Take on a responsibility and win the series in the first round instead of telling me what everybody else is not doing.
Mike, since you got to go to this next question, I'm going to just ask real quick. We can make this like, a one-sentence answer. If Philly loses this series, is Doc Rivers' reputation on the line? Not his job. Forget about the job. Is his reputation on the line? Mike, I'm going to start with you first since you got to go.
Quickly, one, if they lose this series, Doc Rivers is fired. It's already a known fact in Philly. He's fired if they lose this series. I would get rid of him even if they get to the second round because I think they're going to lose in the second round. His reputation has to be on the line. If y'all Google how many 3-2 series he's been up and 3-1 series he's been up with talented teams and he's blown these series, dog, I didn't even think it was true. So it's been like 7 or 8 different series that's either been up 3-2 or 3-1 and lost them. You got to get rid of him if they lose.
I did talent. Let me ask you a question. Doc Rivers, can we give him a break? Like I always say, look, if I'm the coach and I got to cook all the food, can I at least shop for the groceries? I'm sure Doc Rivers wasn't the person instrumental in making that trade between Philly and Brooklyn. Brooklyn got a lot of talent. Whether Ben Simmons is playing or not, they still got a lot of talent. They got Andre Drummond. They got Seth Curry, which is a knockdown shooter. Can we really put all of this on the plate of Doc Rivers when his bench is depleted? What you think, Talent?
Oh, absolutely. Because Doc is unlike most coaches in the NBA. Doc got that ambidextrous coaching skill of part-time GM. So if he has the mind of a GM as well as a coach. So trust and believe this didn't happen without him sitting down and playing chess with this and what moves he was going to make. So I think Doc is fully involved and responsible with whichever way it goes. But now would I say Doc's out of the league and he can't coach no more? Even if he loses a job in Philly, that's good. Even the Liberty Bell's cracked.
God.
If you could drop a Liberty Bell,
Yo, man. Man, what do you think, man? Doc Rivers, his reputation is on the line? Or how about this? Is Doc Rivers still Hall of Fame if he loses this series?
Doc Rivers is still Hall of Fame no matter what. You know what's interesting is in order to be great, you got to lose some. And Doc Rivers, to Mike's point about the amount of times he's been up, and obviously has blown series based off his coaching, based off of personnel, or whatever factors we want to look at. It is what it is. The reality of it all is he still, first and foremost, has had the fortitude and the to get these teams into those spaces. Now, obviously, there is a difference between getting people to those spaces and getting them over the hump. But the reality of it all is he's gotten them to those spaces. So you got to give him some credit even for that, because there are a lot of coaches, as great as they may be, who don't even find themselves in those spaces. So, for me personally, I still think he's Hall of Fame. I still think that, we get, like Talon said, we give him another shot, because some of these other coaches are horrible and they get chance after chance after chance. So,
Uncle Rodney, Daryl Morey really wanted James Harden, but Doc Rivers seems to be taking the heat. Or is it the players that have to take some of the responsibility if they lose this series? Hall of Fame coach or not? Doc Rivers, what you say, Rodney?
Absolutely Hall of Fame coach, but it's like Mike said, man. I mean, Doc Rivers' record speaks for itself. I mean, the guy's been on the carpet more than carpet. And how about this? He's part of the reason that Simmons is out of there. I mean, he shot the first shot even before Embiid. Doc Rivers was questioning Ben Simmons, and so the organization had to do something. And so I blame Doc's hair. Doc is painting his hair. It's a lie, and he's not fooling nobody. Those lights in the stadium.
That is great.
I mean,
Doc Rivers' hair is how Durant's supposed to look.
It is. It is.
Doc Rivers looked like somebody took like a little needle and just was like tapping.
No, that's what he did. That's what he did. Actually, it's a procedure.
They make that. It's like ink. That ain't even hair. That's ink. That's great. But listen, before y'all go, listen, I hate to lose Mike. You gotta hang in because
I got one more. This is it. Then I gotta get.
All right, listen. We saw Memphis go against Minnesota last night. That had to be, look, to me, that is one of the hottest series playing right now, because these young boys get down, and it has the excitement of the Final Four with these NBA players. What do y'all think about the game last night? Ja Morant, he throws down a monstrous dunk that's all over every sports network this morning, and all of a sudden that ignites his team to come back and win. What do you think about Ja Morant's dunk, and was that the move that helped Memphis get over the hump last night?
Probably, but I think what got him over the hump is when Minnesota blew that 27-point lead at home, and they're never gonna forgive themselves for that. The greatness about this, in my opinion, the greatness about this whole series between these guys is that the major guys, the stars, are all young and in their 20s.
Yeah.
So they still do dumb stuff. Yeah. Like, they still know how to blow leads. They still do dumb stuff, but then you see spectacular things on, like, what he did yesterday. What he did yesterday is just what only a 20-year-old can pull that off. Like, only Anthony Edwards can hit a three-pointer, calm, cool, and collective at 20 years old, and then another 20-year-old come down and decide, I'm going to win the game on a layup that I made look ordinary. But in actuality, if you look at the layup, it takes amazing physical coordination to pull that layup off. So this is the future of the NBA. Those two teams are the future of the NBA. I don't think either one of them can beat Phoenix, and I don't think either one of them have the savvy to beat Golden State. But that's an amazing series. Y'all have a great rest of the show, y'all. I'll talk to y'all
Mike,
tomorrow.
man. Thanks for tuning in. Talent.
All right.
What you think, man? Ja Morant pulls out a monstrous dunk, man. We ain't seen nothing like that. I mean, when I saw that dunk last night, it puts me in mind of some stuff that LeBron James, Vince Carter, Michael Jordan would have pulled off in the playoff series. He pulls that dunk off, and then Memphis goes on to be able to come back and win that game, man. It's seemingly on the shoulders of Ja Morant. What you got to say about that?
Well, first of all, I think Mike Sean is going to jail. I think he got one of those. I think he got one of those. He got to go report. You ever see those people? They got to spend the weekends in jail. So the timing of it is Wednesday. And he like, I got to go. I'll see y'all in a minute. I had a friend had to do that. You got to Wednesday midday like this. You got to check in just to make sure you're still around, and then you go spend the weekend in jail. That explains everything. Because I didn't know until today. Good luck out there, Mike. But here's the thing. Everybody's hung up on the dunk, but I can't be hung up on the dunk because I watched the game. If you watch the whole game, that was a beautiful, fantastic game, bro.
Yeah, it was.
That's what you want. When guys go to war like that, that's the kind of game you want to see. They was at war every quarter. And it came down to the wire where it was up in there, anybody's game, and everybody had to make the right plays. Just when you thought this was the play, then there came this play. Then you thought it was over, then they came back. I'm going to tell you right now. If Patrick Beverly doesn't foul out, I think we have a different winner.
Yeah, man. Yes.
That's what I think.
I think it's kind of funny. I think Patrick Beverly is severely underrated when it comes to what his impact on the basketball court, man. But Ja Morant did not only the dunk, he knocked down the three. He did some Julius Erving looking like where he went up in the air and then moved around and made a layup. Rodney, man, I don't know if you saw the game or not, man, but these games have not been separate. Like, none of these games have been blowout. They've all been like 2 points, 4 points, 1 point wins and stuff like that. What do you think about last night, Ja Morant, Memphis Grizzlies, Minnesota Timberwolves? What you got, Rodney?
Man, it's like you said, it's exciting, man. I mean, I'm not a big fan of college basketball, but it's reminiscent of the Final Four. You're looking at guys that are athletic, they're young, they don't give a damn. These boys ain't scared of nothing. They're gangster. And how about this? We got to shout out T. Morant, Ja Morant's dad.
Yes, sir.
And the good deal. I mean, fathers don't get a lot of press. You know, these guys, go to the camera and say, "Hey, mom," but T. Morant is there courtside, and Ja Morant played so well because T. Morant was being ridiculed for looking like Usher. Him and Usher was on the sideline dressed alike, and Ja Morant was just trying to get the heat off his dad. So mad respect to Ja Morant for looking out for Pops, who was dressed like Usher, and this was his confession.
I love the camaraderie between Morant and Big Cat's father, man. These guys, man, even though their sons on opposite teams, they seem to form a bond. I love that. Amir, something that Mike said struck a chord, man. These young players, man, are in their 20s, early 20s, maybe 20 years old. I think the NBA is in good hands. You've been an NBA fan for, man, a lot of years, like the rest of us, man. What do you think?
You know what, man? I kid you not. That is the one thing that I think might be getting lost with the playoffs in general. The amount of young players, to a point Rodney just made, who are balling out of control. And I mean young players. You look at the face, they got baby faces, but these guys are out there and they are playing as if they are seasoned veterans and have been with their organizations for years. A young man on Philadelphia. There's a young cat that's on Ja Morant's team, the light-skinned kid with the bushy hair. He just comes down. He had a dunk. We talk about what you call it, but he had a dunk. Like, it's just so many young players on all of these teams knocking down big threes. Cats are making key steals. They're diving for loose balls. All of the things that you would do if you were a young person and you were fighting for the neighborhood bragging rights or whatever the case may be, or bragging rights for your school. But it is great to see that kind of energy and to see that the NBA has that to look forward to, because even Edwards, like, I love this kid's game. Literally, everything about how the way that kid plays the game to me is incredible. If he's not knocking down jump shots like he's capable of going in there and banging it on you too. And you'd be like, whoa, wait a minute. So it's just great to see all of these young players having both the inside and outside game. It's no longer just he's an athletic kid, whatever. They're showing you they have the complete game, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, me too. What you got, Uncle Rodney?
No, I was going to say to that point, Amir, you also looking at even those kids over in Boston, man, they're 24 and 25, and they're old school now. But they still play with their reckless abandon, man. It's really interesting to watch. And how about this? And I know nobody want to talk about the guy because he's not in the playoffs this year, but LeBron James is 1,000 years old.
Facts.
And still playing with these guys. That's amazing.
It is. You know, it's funny that you brought up LeBron James, Rodney. I saw something on LeBron James. He put out a tweet where he was like, look, he was enjoying the playoffs, and he vowed that he would never ever in his career miss another playoff season. What y'all gotta say?
He called me last night. We talked about it.
Let me tell you something.
What?
I'm telling you.
Hold on, Tyler. Go ahead. What'd you say, Brian?
Hold on.
Tyler about to say something about you, man. Yeah.
I'm tired of stupid ass tweets. I'm not gonna miss. I'm guaranteeing not to miss another one in my career. You got 1 year left.
Wait a minute. What are you looking? What are you looking at? What are you looking at?
I'm like a comedian on stage for an hour. Yo, I promise I'm not gonna curse the rest of my set. You wrap it up. How hard is that to predict?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. And I brought this up off air yesterday to Frank. And I said, Frank, you ever notice the hypocrisy from LeBron fans? When you compare LeBron to anybody else, they go right to the championships. But when you compare LeBron to Jordan, they don't want to talk about championships. Pay attention. That's hypocrisy. That's hypocritical, brother. That is the mere meaning of hypocrisy. They hang their hat on that until it's Jordan. Then it's like, no. Let's go to minutes played. Let's go to shoes laces. Man,
shoes laces?
Oh, wait a minute. Amir, hold on.
I'm glad you brought that up, Talent, because LeBron has laced more shoes than anybody ever to play in the NBA, and that's a fact.
I gotta go to Amir. Amir, I saw something else. LeBron James said he would love to go to the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know if this is true or not. He said he would love to go to the Brooklyn Nets and play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Amir, do you think that's even possible?
Well, one, I don't think it's possible. But here's the fun thing, and this goes to Talent's point. I always thought that when people make any kind of argument for or against LeBron, that's usually their argument is the whole championship thing. If you look at his other body of work, meaning most points scored, rebounds, assists, so forth and so on.
Shoes laces.
Again, to Rodney's point, numbers don't lie. So it is what it is. But I always think this. For him to make a tweet like that, we got to stay relevant. We got to have fun with this. He knows he's on the tail end of his career for sure. Right. And to the point that we just made, look at the young talent. You don't want too many problems with a lot of these young kids now because, again, unlike seemingly the rookies of yesteryear, there was hazing and certain things that went along with going and coming into the league. These young dudes don't look like they're going for any of that. Like I said, as I'm watching these games, they out there like, who? Look, bro, don't get in this lane or you can get bodied, and that's just it. And we're going to talk about it later. You can be mad at me later, but here and now, don't do it to yourself. And I love the fact that they have that kind of energy and they're playing with that kind of veracity when it comes to the game because we need that back. I love
Absolutely.
the fact that mid-range has come back. I love the fact that inside
Yeah.
play has come back. You know what I mean? Even to the point of Ja Morant's shot, and Mike hit the nail on the head. That probably, with the left hand, Ja Morant is doing more with his left hand than most people who are right-handed could do with their right hand. And he's making it look easy, but in
Yeah.
no way, shape, or form are any of those plays easy. And I mean it. Like, I'm watching this kid like, yo, that's crazy. But again, Rodney hit the nail on the head as well. He's
Oh.
20 years old.
20.
When you're 20, you do all kind of crazy stuff that you might not, attempt
Normally be able to
as
do.
you get older, or
Yeah.
that you're capable of doing.
Here's my Rodney Perry impersonation. LeBron James has the most left-handed assists from inside the arc in the fourth quarter / overtime.
Rodney, I'm gonna give you the last word. I know you the biggest LeBron James fan on the panel, man. So I gotta give you the last word on the LeBron James thing. Do you think it's possible that LeBron James could hold up to his prediction and say, look, man, I'm never ever gonna miss another playoff season? And do you think he can play long enough that his son makes it to the league and he gets a chance to play alongside of Bronny James?
I mean, you know what? To be honest, Fig, man, I hope so. But I don't want to see a shell of himself. I don't want to see LeBron, dragging himself onto the court. I mean, he like it or not, they put together a pretty dismal season this year, but LeBron had a great season. And so as long as he can play at this level, I mean, I don't want to see LeBron the way we saw the late years of Michael Jordan with the Wizards. I would like to see LeBron go out on top, and be a formidable guy. And those of you that are LeBron haters know this: one day you're gonna miss this guy.
Wait a minute. This just in, Fig. LeBron is signing with the Cancun Cougars.
Cancun Cougars.
I couldn't even.
You know, listen, and we're gonna move on right after this. Hey, Rodney, here's the thing. The thing that you just said about Michael Jordan, the truth of the matter is, he didn't do bad for himself. Michael Jordan averaged 20 points at 39 and 40 years old. That's not bad, man, because there's a lot of NBA players right now.
But that's not Michael Jordan-esque numbers either.
Hold on. I'm just saying there's a lot of young players that can't average 20 points a game.
But you don't compare Michael Jordan to regular people. He's a Superman.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that's not easy. Listen, let's move on. Listen, because we've talked about young players.
Please.
Mikal Bridges joins the ranks of some of the greatest performances in playoff history when this young man rose to the occasion with Devin Booker out, and he damn near carried the team to be able to defeat the Pelicans last night, man. Devin Booker had 31 points, 12 of 17 shooters, 4 blocks, and a steal. Man, that is down for the record books, man. Talent, what you got to say about that, man? That was Devin Booker was insane last night.
Let me tell you something, man. First of all,
not Booker, right? Not Booker.
Mikal Bridges.
No, not Booker.
Last night.
Right. Okay, but first of all, let me tell you something. Second round, I pity the fool. Remember Mr. T used to say that? I pity the fool. They got to go another round with this team. This team is lighting up without Devin.
Right.
So that's the most scariest thing to face, a team that's lighting it up without their star player. Because when he come back in, you already know what that piece of the puzzle is. So if they're lighting it up and pulling these things off right now without him, I'm shifting my money. I'm shifting my money right now. You think Elon Musk is buying Twitter? I'm buying stock in the Suns, the real Suns.
The real Sun.
The Sun itself.
I just bought 10 shares of the Sun. They come in 1 hour to put the solar panels up on the.
Amir, listen, man. Mikal Bridges went off last night, missing Devin Booker. And listen, the truth of the matter is, all of the talking heads, they was putting all the pressure on Chris Paul said, is this it for him? Devin Booker went out. KD carried the team. At the first half, Chris Paul looked like he had played 3 games, let alone 1 half. He looked like he was spent and didn't have any left. Mikal Bridges comes out and he just plays out of his mind. It almost like he embodied another player, man, and just went completely off, man. What do you think about the game last night?
You know what?
Performance?
2 things about this, man. First off, big shout out and kudos to Chris Paul, because this is what you do. Once you get to be an elder statesman in the league, you hopefully depend on the youth to be able to step it up and carry the team. And that's exactly what this young man did. The other thing that I want to make mention of, and maybe, the rest of you guys feel this way or don't feel this way, but is it just me, or does the center for the Suns remind you of a young Maurice Lucas? Like, is it just me? I mean, same sort of game, like, nice short inside jumper, tough inside and all this stuff. I was watching the game last night. I was like, yo, he reminds me of Maurice Lucas. I was like, interesting. But, again, kudos to that young man, because again, it shows the maturity level. Don't forget, these guys have championship pedigree, in the sense that, yes, they didn't win, but they got there last year, and that's a major feather in all of those young players' cap, because they understand the moment, they understand what the pressure's like to be at this point. So right. I love to see what these kids are doing. I love to see this young team.
That was DeAndre Ayton you talking about, yes, man.
DeAndre Ayton. I'm sorry.
He's definitely formidable. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Hey, real quick question, sidebar. Is it me or the guy Bane on the Grizzlies? Do he look like he play anything but basketball? He is the most non-basketball looking dude we got in all the playoffs.
Yeah. And he knocking down threes like in layups. Yeah. It's incredible.
He shoot like a mechanic.
Yeah. He looked like he played a little football and decided to go with basketball, a la Allen Iverson, man.
He got the face of substitute teacher though. He looked like anything but basketball. I keep staring at this guy when the game going on. Like
I said, sit down.
Where he go?
Rodney, I gotta go to Rodney. Rodney, tell me, Mikal Bridges, man, he takes the Phoenix Suns and they go 1 game up on the New Orleans Pelicans. It's a 3-2 lead, but the Pelicans are going back home. Can they get 1 more in New Orleans, or do the Pelicans tie it up and they go to a game 7?
Everything is saying they should go game 7, but let's talk about the Suns, man. First of all, Mikal Bridges is been that dude. Like he's been the guy that will spell Devin Booker since last season. And the thing about the Suns, man, and you got to say this, these guys aren't good looking. Without Devin Booker, these guys get real ugly. And no, stay with me on this. These guys are so physically challenged. I mean, you're looking at DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, not cute. And this guy Cameron might be the worst looking light skinned person in America. I mean, Cam Johnson, but they know how to make shots. They're grimy. They're not to be messed with, and they're proof that dude, they got JaVale McGee looking good out there, coming out the bench doing his thing. So you got to respect these guys. The Phoenix Suns, it's hot out there. It's hot. It's hot in Phoenix, and they just got to be in the AC, man. And so Chris Paul, his hamstrings called in last week and said they almost out of there, and so DeAndre Ayton looked like he stopped drinking. So they're just one of those teams, man, that they really embody the next man up philosophy, and it's good to see Bridges getting his just due. I wouldn't stake my reputation on him though, that he gonna be able to do that the rest of this series. I predict the Pelicans gonna come back. And how about this? The Pelicans are playing this well without the big fella, the hamburger over there on the bench.
Yeah.
You know, So, but again, they may go 7, but I still think Phoenix will win a series.
So Rodney, basically, the Phoenix Suns, not only are they grimy, they also ugly.
So Rodney said,
"Oh well, let me take that back because you can't look."
Let's go with
DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. These guys, I mean, wow. You know,
they look like the Cosby Kids, don't they?
These guys.
They look like remember the cartoon show Talent?
Hey, Rod, so if this was the NFL,
I seen one of them walking like this the other day.
If this was college football, this would be the gruesome bowl.
They look like the Phoenix Suns look like them dudes that LeBron played in the cartoon. They are the Monstars.
Let's move on to this next story, man. This is the last NBA story. Then we're gonna try and get some NFL stuff in here. The Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine, enters the health and safety protocols for Game 5 against Milwaukee. I have one question: is it a wrap, Talent? Milwaukee is up, and they got a game tonight, and Chicago Bulls have to play without Zach LaVine, baby. Is it over tonight?
Yeah. No question. Here's what we're about to see. We're about to see a gear shift for Milwaukee because Milwaukee's looking at the next series and they knowing that they have to, without my man Middleton, they got to show and prove because whether he becomes available or not, we don't know how soon the next round's going to kick. If they can close out now, obviously it kicks sooner than later. But they got to click gears now. And I don't put it past the Greek Freak and Holiday and those guys stepping up to the next level. If you look at their box scores, their other players have been stepping up. They're going to give you 4 to 6 players in double figures every game. And whenever I tell people this is what people don't look at when they look in the box score. Put the 2 teams up. And I guarantee you the one with the most people on the team in double figures, 9 times out of 10 is the winning team. You know what I mean? So Milwaukee is showing you that consistently. Now we're about to see another gear click because Greek Freak's about to show you why he's supposed to be the MVP and all that.
Oh, that sounds definitely true because the game with the Boston Celtics against the Brooklyn Nets, it seemed like every player that stepped on the court for Boston was in double figures. Amir, what do you think about the Chicago losing Zach LaVine to the health and safety protocols? He won't be able to play against the Milwaukee Bucks. Is it over?
Yeah, that's a big blow for them. Zach LaVine has been playing extremely well, in the playoffs thus far. He gives them another level of toughness, and he gives them, something that they have to think about. Now, Chicago, again, formidable team. They have a pretty decent bench as well. So it really boils down to whether or not whoever comes in for Zach LaVine can come in and bring the same energy that he does and a little bit more because they're going to need that. To Talent's point, and he's absolutely right, Milwaukee is clicking on all cylinders as seemingly right now. And that's big going, not only getting out of this series, but going into the next series. That level of comfortability will allow those players to be ready for the next round and to bring that same energy. So,
and next up, it will be the Green Machine versus the Green Machine if they're able to get by. Rodney, Milwaukee against Chicago, no Zach LaVine. Because he's entered the health and safety protocols, won't be available for the game tonight. Who you got?
No Zach LaVine, no Alex Caruso. I mean, man, they might as well just not even show up. It's like everybody criticized Ben Simmons. Right? They say, Ben, how dare you not show up? But isn't that fun sometimes? Like, you're going to lose. Put on your green sunglasses and just, like, you know what? It's a bad day. All jokes aside, man, the Bucks are just good, man. Giannis is still Giannis. He's not injured. He's looking healthy. He's looking strong. He don't need nobody else. You can't wall him out like you could last year, the year before last. The guy figured that out. He's got his mid-range together, and he's still got a long-range game, and he's still just dunk on your dumb ass if you won't get out the way.
How about that?
So I like the Bucks against the Bulls, and how about this? I like the Bucks against the Boston Celtics.
I like that. A pre-prediction. Let me just get this out here, y'all. This is a feel-good story. Running back Bilal Powell signs a one-day contract with the New York Jets so he can retire. 33 years old, played in 2019 following a significant neck injury. Cut short this 2018 season. He underwent surgery to make it back to a 13 game, to play 13 games as a reserve player. Last story. We got veteran running back Melvin Gordon, 29 years old, returns to the Denver Broncos for a one-year contract that includes incentives. Now, do y'all think this is going to help Denver be able to get over the hump? We know that Russell Wilson, former quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, just signed with Denver. Do you think Gordon can help the Seattle Seahawks get over the hump?
Well, I'll tell you like this.
Help Denver Bronco get over the hump.
Let me tell you like this. Bro. It depends, Fig. If Sierra has a hit record, they're done. There's only one superstar. There's a one superstar household over there. If her record hits, he's done. If her record flops, he's back.
Oh man!
It's a one superstar household over there. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. When Mike Starr took off, Michael Jackson, the other Jacksons, we forgot their name. I think it was Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, that's New Edition.
That was New Edition.
See what I'm saying? I forgot their name.
Wait a minute. Wow.
I think it helps. He's familiar with the system over there. He's obviously still usable, so I think it helps. I think a lot of it is still going to be on whose shoulders, because at the end of the day, the man has proven not only to win a Super Bowl, but he's really the face of the franchise. Right. So his leadership, his ability to get those guys all on the same page, that's what it's going to boil down to. So I'm still looking to see whether or not his greatness transpires over there in Denver.
Uncle Rodney, you got the last word and the last statement for the show today. What do you think? Gordon signs a one-year contract incentive filled to help Russell Wilson be able to take the Broncos over the phone. Oh, one more last thing. The Broncos management offers all of their free agents to come in and possibly get back on the squad. Do you think they can help?
I mean, hopefully they can, but I think it speaks to this, Fig. It speaks to how they undervalue running backs. You're giving this guy a deal. You're kind of not paying him, but if he does well, he'll make money. And so he's kind of a hired gun. And hopefully, for his sake, he has a great season. And his family could eat another day. But other than that, man, if he has a poor season, he'll be back at the gas station pumping gas.
Or packing bags like some NBA players had in the past, man.
Or in jail like Mike Sean.
Whoa.
Yes. I hope he can get that ankle bracelet back on in good condition before he goes see his PO.
He just
guys, listen, that's it for me, man. It's Big Wednesdays, man. That's the show for the day. Man, it was good being the host for the day, man, and chopping it up.
Great job, Fig.
This is the best part of my day, man, being able to hang out with you guys and talk sports on the box seats. Why don't you tell us how we can follow you? Talent.
Hey, man, I don't want nobody to follow me today. I just want to give you kudos, man. Job well done, Fig. You learn something every day. I didn't even know you could read.
Wait a minute, Fig been reading?
He been reading. You see me?
Hey, listen.
I thought he memorized the whole thing.
I learned how to read when I was with Kizzy. When Kizzy was reading, I was reading alongside. Amir, tell them how we can follow you, man.
A-Rock Silly right there on the screen on Instagram, AROCKSELY, and Amir Silly on Twitter and Amir Silly on Facebook. Always great rocking out with you, gentlemen, man.
Man, appreciate you coming in, man. Always good to have you. Uncle Rodney Perry, tell us how we can follow you, man.
What up? Rodney Perry live on all social media. Season 2 of 5 Quick Questions started today with my man Talent. Great chat, man. Thank you for coming on, y'all. It's 5 Quick Questions on Rodney Perry.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm your boy Fig. I was your host for today. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. And like we used to do, on Boxies, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. This is the best damn sports show on TV. Ask your mama. That's your show for today. Peace, y'all.